Episode 485. The target of the hunt was settled. Everything that followed was routine for the group, requiring little discussion beyond coordinating personnel and logistics. Blue River watched in silence, not saying a word. He kept switching between games, his eyes fixed on his friend Chung Cheng's name on the friend list. To be honest, he and Thousand City weren't exactly close. But Spring Warmth's actions left Blue River with a cold, deeply unpleasant feeling.
Should I say hello to Thousand City?
Blue River was caught in a dilemma, wrestling with indecision. He watched the details being laid out, point by point in the group chat. The operation was ready to launch, everyone was online. Hunting someone down, that was just a matter of the guild giving the word. With the major guilds working together, their eyes and ears were spread across the entire Glory server. Someone had already reported back on Thousand City's current location.
Should I?
Blue River's mouse pointer hovered over the private chat window with Thousand City. He clicked it open, then closed it again, over and over, his mind a whirlwind of indecision. Finally, Blue River made up his mind. He swiftly opened the private chat window with Thousand City, typed out 3 words in a flash, and sent them off just as fast.
Be careful.
Blue River didn't say more. With just those 3 words, he believed Thousand City would understand. With that message sent, a weight lifted from Blue River's heart, and he felt a wave of relief. Looking at all the discussions in the group chat, I suddenly felt completely detached from it all.
Understood. Thanks.
Right at that moment, Thousand Cities sent another reply. No further questions, just a simple understood. This made Blue River pause. It sounded like he'd known all along.
You knew all along?
Yeah.
What do you know?
The guilds will definitely come for me.
Didn't realize you were so well informed.
Blue River was a little surprised. He had no personal connection with Thousand City, but after all this time, they'd been seeing each other around constantly. In his view, Thousand City was a practical, hands-on talent, skilled at PK. When it comes to guild politics, Chung never seemed to have much of a head for it, but now he's got a pretty clear read on the situation.
Nah, it was God Yi Chu who told me.
That was Blue River's reply. He had completely forgotten about the mastermind behind it all, Ye Chu. If that guy knew about this all along, then he's probably already made arrangements for Thousand City. It's impossible to know what the arrangement is, but it's sure to be a tough one to handle. Should I? Barely 5 minutes had passed, and Blue River was already tangled up in a whole new dilemma. He wanted to tell the other guilds that Lord Grimm was already on his guard. But just as he was about to speak, he realized he couldn't explain where he'd gotten this information. He could hardly say he'd tipped off Thousand City, and then Thousand City had returned the favor by telling him. While Blue River was still tangled in his thoughts, the discussion group on his end had already wrapped up for the moment. Everyone suddenly fell silent and logged back into the game. Blue River sent a message to Springing Willows.
Has it started?
Yes.
Chun Yilao's reply was simple.
Be careful, they might be ready for us.
Blue River finally said it. Hi. He knew that if his actions were exposed, he'd be caught between a rock and a hard place. But in the end, he just couldn't keep it bottled up.
Let's hope so.
Spring Dawn's reply took Blue River by surprise, but he quickly understood. The major guilds actually wanted a large-scale direct conflict with the Happy Guild. If Happy made any major moves to protect Thousand City, that would be exactly what the other guilds were hoping for.
It's all just schemes and counter-schemes.
Blue River sighed, realizing his mind just couldn't keep up with this pace. He always figured things out in the end, but he was always a step behind.
Move out. Move out.
Move.
Within the major guilds, the Grandmasters and regional leaders had all assigned their roles for this mission. At the command, the operation officially began. Thousand Waves Lake, a leveling zone for characters between levels 40 and 43. At first glance, it's a breathtaking vista of shimmering light and endless azure waters. But in any leveling zone, no matter how beautiful the scenery, danger always lurks beneath the surface. The shores teemed with vicious leveling mobs, while the lake's depths concealed aquatic beasts of their own. All were creatures of the 40 to 43rd level range. Scattered throughout the lake are several small islands, home to the Thousand Wave Lake Dungeon for levels 40 to 43. This is precisely where the top-level guilds of the 10th server are currently locked in fierce competition. Thousand City was slowly circling the lake, casually taking out monsters. The area was sparsely populated. From a level perspective, fewer than 99 players were even suited to grind here. Even if they all came, spread across this vast expanse of Arclight Lake, a chance encounter would be a rare coincidence indeed. However, the major guilds had been watching him since the moment he set out for the leveling zone. While their higher-ups were still debating, the moment they identified Qin Chung as their target, they had already begun tracking his location.
Coordinates 2568-4654. Targets at that location now.
The players who had discovered Thousand City quietly sent the intel back, which was then relayed to the operatives dispatched by the various guilds. Guild leaders like Spring Green and Blue River personally took part in this operation. They were already rushing in this direction. Upon meeting, Shen Yilou didn't seem quite so inarticulate anymore.
What's been going on lately?
Spring Old asked Blue River.
It's nothing. Just a bit tired.
Blue River replied.
Been on Juicy these past few days. How's Happy doing over there?
It's been developing quite steadily.
With someone like Ye Chu involved, it's unlikely any low-level mistakes would be made.
Resigned.
He really is a tough one to deal with.
Blue River, however, said nothing more.
We're almost there.
Xizhou said as they walked. For this operation, the major guilds deployed their elite forces. Qin Chung was a formidable opponent in his own right, but they also suspected Ye Chu and his crew might make a move. They hoped to seize this chance to stir up a massive storm, the bigger the better, and crush the Happy Guild completely.
Look, it's Qian Chen.
At that moment, Thunderbolt Flash within the team had already spotted Thousand City's trail.